Hello friends, welcome back. In the previous class we have seen how method overloading works and how do we implement method overloading or function overloading in C#, and we have seen a real-time example. Let me explain how this code is working. Okay, I put a breakpoint. Now you can see we have many variables here: x, y, a, b, Rf_max, Rf_max2, Rimax, Rimax2. Now if I execute this, a is assigned 10, b is 20. Then we know that the max function is going to be called now. So it moves to the max function with a, b values. Now a is filled with 10, b is filled with 20. Whether 10 is greater than 20, it will check that we have passed. As this condition becomes false because 10 is not greater than 20, it will move to b. It will return b back. So you can see our Rimax is having the value 20 that we will display on the screen. Then float x is 10.2, y is 12.2. You can see that x is 10.2 and y is 12.2 that we have initialized. Then the max function is going to be called based on the type of parameters and the number of parameters that you have passed. Here both are float and 2 parameters, so it will jump to the max function which is asking for 2 parameters, both are of type float. You can see that it has come here. X is 10.2, y is 12.2. This condition is going to become false because 10.2 is not greater than 12.2, so it returns y, that is 12.2 will be returned back, and that is stored in a Rf_max 12.2, and we display that. The next we are calling the max function, which is asking it will, as we are passing variable number of arguments by using comma 1 2 3 1 2 5 8, it will go to that function which is asking for an integer array variable number of parameters. It will go to that function, and first thing what we are doing is we are checking whether numbers of length, you can see it is 4, that we are storing in size variable, and it checks the condition whether size is equal to 0. No, because size is 4 is not equal to 0, this condition becomes false. Here we are checking size equal to 0 because if the numbers array, if we have not passed anything, then the size will be 0, then we need not to calculate this. We need not to perform this operation only. So that is little bit optimization thing, you can say. So it will come back, size equal to 0 is false, it won't execute this, it will go to this place and it gets the first numbers of 0. The numbers of 0, you can see it is 1. It is 1. 1 will be assigned to the max. Then I is 1, it starts from here. I is less than size, the size is 4, you can see that we have already stored over here. As the condition is true, it comes inside and it checks whether numbers of 1 is greater than max. Max is 1, 1 is greater than 2, numbers of I is 2, 2 is greater than 1, yes, the condition is true, so that number will be assigned to max, so it is going to have 2. Now you can see max is having 2 in this place. This is our numbers array, this is a size variable and I. So once this loop will get executed, max will be having the 8. You can see that step by step, you just need to observe here the max value. Okay, now the max is 5. After executing this, max is 8. Now I is going to become 4. 4 is less than 4 is false, it will come out, and we return the max, that is 8. It will be returned back. And Rimax2, you can see it is having 8, and that we display here. Next, the max function we are calling, which is asking, you can see this function, to this function we are passing all the values float, so it will go to that specific max function. It came to this function now, right? Numbers.length we are storing in the size, which is 4. And is size equal to 0? No. It will come to this place, takes the first number, puts in that, and this function will find out the max value. This for loop, okay? You can observe here. Right now we have 8.2 and I is going to become 4 now. 4 is less than 4 becomes false, and we are going to pass 8.2, that is the max value, return back, and we get that value and display that. So this is how the code works, guys. I hope you guys now clearly understood how our code works. Okay guys, now we have understood how our code works. If you have seen the Math.Max function, there it is little bit different. If I write A is greater than B, instead of that if I say A is less than or equal to B, then I return B, otherwise I return A. What is the meaning of that? If A is less than B, then B will be returned. That means B is greater, right? If A is greater than B, then A should be returned. Let us check it out for this also. Less than or equal to Y, then I should return Y, because Y will be greater, X will be smaller. Let us save now and check out what is happening in these two codes, because these two codes are similar to the previous. Only I just want to explain these two. Okay, let me attach the debugger and let's run the code. And A is 10, B is 20, and max function we go. Now let us understand this part. A is what? 10. B is what? 20. Whether A is less than or equal to B, of course it is true, because 10 is less than or equal to B, the condition is true. As the condition is true, 10 is less than or equal to 20 is true, it will return B. That is the maximum one, correct or not? So this code also same, works same, it returns 20 back. Let us replace this value with this one 20 and this one I make 10, and we save this, and you can see we are getting the proper results. I just want to show you, okay? I just want to explain the code works. Clear that and run the code. Okay, this time let us see whether it is returning A back to us. It should return A back to us because that is having the maximum value. We come over here. Now A is what? 20. B is what? 10. Whether 20 is less than or equal to 10? No. As the condition false, it will return A. That is 20 will be returned back. This code we find in the max function of Math.F structure. Okay, both are similar. The code that we have written previously. This is the code that is actually present in the Math.F class max function. So now we have written almost the similar code of max function which is available in the Math.F structure. I hope you guys have understood. I would like to talk about next type of functions, which is recursive functions. Now recursive functions, we will understand what is the meaning of recursive functions. Let us take one good example for recursive function is factorial of a number. Okay, if you want to find the factorial of 5, how do you find out? It's a mathematical, right? Maths part, you know. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, you will do that like this, right? If you need to find out the factorial of 2, what you will do? 2 into 1, correct or not? Let us take, you want to find out the factorial of 4. How do you find out? 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Then let's take 3 if you want to find out 3 factorial. Okay, factorial you are finding. Then you will saying 3 into 2 into 1, right? If you need to find out the factorial of 2, what you will do? 2 into 1. What is the 1 factorial? 1 factorial is 1. So if you want to find out n factorial, you will be taking n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 1, n minus 2 multiplied by n minus 3 and so on up to 1. You are going to do that. So you can perform the factorial of n numbers in a simple way. Using the for loop also you can perform. Let us take, I want to find out the factorial of some number. So what I do, I create one integer variable called as fact. I store value 1. The meaning of this is factorial of 1 is 1. Then I say for loop. For I is equal to 2, I is less than max. Okay, less than or equal to the max value. Let us take, I want to find out the factorial of 5. So I write here 5. Then what I do, I say fact is equal to factorial multiplied by I. Then I just debug.log display the factorial. Okay, this is the one way. I just showing you how do you find out the factorial. Okay, let us save and check out whether we get 5 factorial is how much. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is equal to 120. We should get 120 on the screen. If I save and come back, I clear this code and run the code. We should get here 120. We got 120. You can see that we have found the factorial for 5. Let us take, I want to find out the factorial for another number. Let us take the number I give, one variable called as number. So here I say the number is, let us take 3. I want to find out the factorial for 3. So here I pass that number. Okay, that is the maximum value here. I save. So 3 factorial is how much, guys? Clear? 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1, which is equal to 6. So if I save and run the code, I should see here 6 available. Here 6 should get displayed. You can find that it is a 6. Nice. This is the way in the forward direction we are multiplying, like we are starting from 1 and we are moving up to the number. You can do in the reverse order also. How do you find out the factorial in the before I go to reverse? Let me explain how the code is working. Okay, I put a breakpoint and run the code. Now fact is 0, num is 0. Let us execute this. So now fact is 1 and num is 3 because we want to find out the factorial of 3. Then we are starting from 2. Of course, we have to start from 2 up to 3. We have to multiply. So first factorial is 1. 1 multiplied by 2 will be 2. That will be stored in the factorial. And you can see 2 is less than or equal to 3 is true. So it will come inside. I is now 2. Factorial is 1. 1 multiplied by 2 will be assigned to factorial. So it is going to be 2. Fact has to become 2 now. Let us see now. You can see that fact is 2. Then I is going to become 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3 is true. It will come inside. And now fact is 2. I is 3. So 2 into 3 is 6. 6 will be stored in the factorial. So factorial is going to become 6. You can see it has become 6. And I is going to become 4. 4 is less than or equal to 3 is false. It will come out and it will display the fact value, that is 6. I hope you guys have clearly understood how it is working. Now let us do in this manner, in the reverse manner. I have to start with the number, go up to 1. So what I do, I is equal to num. We should start with the number 3. Then I should go in the reverse order. Greater than or equal to 1. Up to 1 I have to go. Then I minus minus we have to do. And then we get the result. Let us save and check whether we get the result 6 or not if we write this code. Let's clear this. If I run the code, you can see that we got 6. If I change this to 5, I should get 120. Let me save this and come back. And you can see that we got 120. Let me change it to 3 and explain you how the code is working. It's simple code. I think you people already understood, but yet I just explain it a little faster. Now fact is going to be 1, num is 3. First I will be 3. You can see that 3 is greater than or equal to 1 is true. It will come inside. Fact is 1. 1 multiplied by 3. Fact is going to become 3 now. You can see that it is 3. I is going to become minus minus. So I is going to become now 2. 2 is greater than or equal to 1 is true. So it comes inside. Now fact is 3. 3 multiplied by 2 will be 6. 6 will be stored in the fact. You can see that it has become 6. I minus minus, I is going to become 1. 1 is greater than or equal to 1 is true. So it will come inside. Then it will check 6 multiplied by 1. So that is going to be 6. The factorial will be 6 only. And I is going to become now 0. 0 is greater than or equal to 1 is false. It will come out and it will display the factorial on the screen. That is how we are doing. If I have to find out the factorial, first we find 3 multiplied, first we multiplied with 3 with 2, it becomes 6. 6 multiplied by 1 is 6. So we get 6. That is how we perform the factorial just by using the for loop. But if we observe carefully, you can very easily understand there is a recursion. There is a recursion. What is the meaning of that? If I have to find out the 5 factorial, what we need to do means we have to take 5 multiplied by, I have to calculate 4 factorial. What is 4 factorial? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, right? But if you see, if you need to find out 4 factorial, you need to find out 3 factorial. So 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1. If you need to find out the 3 factorial, you have to find out the 2 factorial. If you need to find out the 2 factorial, you have to find out the factorial of 1. And what is the factorial of 1? That is 1. You can find out that you have a recursion, guys. If you need to find out the 5 factorial, what you need to do means you have to say 5 equal to 5 into 4 factorial. If you want to find out and again if you need to find out this 4 factorial, you have to say 4 multiplied by 3 factorial. Correct or not? If you have to find out the 3 factorial, you have to take 3 multiplied by 2 factorial. And if you need to find out the 2 factorial, 2 into 1 factorial. And what is 1 factorial? 1. This is known as recursion. Recursion is one of the important part of programming, because many places you will find the recursion. Finding out the recursion in a program or a problem is really one of the important tasks. Now let us write a code for that and understand. If I have to find out the 5 factorial, what I need to do, as I told, 5 multiplied by 4 factorial I have to do. Then if I need to find out the 4 factorial, 4 multiplied by 3 factorial I have to do. If I have to find out the 3 factorial, 3 multiplied by 2 factorial I have to do. If I have to find out the 2 factorial, 2 multiplied by 1 factorial I have to do. And what is 1 factorial? Is 1. Now here comes, when you are working with the recursion, there will be 2 conditions. One is the base condition and another one is the recursion. Whenever you have a recursion, there will be a base condition. This is a condition which is going to make your function quit, and the recursion part is going to do the calculation. Now if you observe here, we have 5, then 4. What is the meaning of that? If 5 is n, what is 4? N minus 1. So 5 into n minus 1 factorial. Then if you take next n minus 2 factorial, right? N minus 1 into n minus 2 factorial. So if you observe this, we can write a code something like this. Factorial is equal to, okay, the factorial will be n, that is the number n, multiplied by the factorial of n minus. Okay, this is going to become a recursion. Let me write a code and understand, make you understand. Okay. So what I do is I create one function. I create one function which is going to return us the factorial, and it takes the number itself, that is going to be a integer number. We take that number, okay, or you can say n, simply just n. Then as I told, first we write the base condition. If n is equivalent to 1, if n becomes 1, then we return 1. Else, otherwise, what we do means we return n into factorial of n minus 1. Okay, you can see that you are calling this function in the same function. You are calling, what is recursive function means? If a function calls itself, then it is called as recursive function. If a function calls itself, is known as recursive function. What can we do means we can say debug.log, let us pass 5 to the factorial function. I call the factorial function and I pass 5 to it. Let us save and check out whether it displays the result 120. Let's come back. Just clear this code and run and check. And you can see that we got 120, guys. Now let us take, I change it to 3. I just save it and come back. Let us run and check. You can see that we got 6. This is how we write a recursive function. What is a recursive function? If a function calls itself, then it is called as a recursive function. Now factorial is a type of a recursive function. How do the code is working? Why we have written like this? We will understand in the next class. So yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial.